Digital Nomad Talks. Today, next to me, I have the gorgeous and amazing mind, Samantha. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. Today's topic is going to be about how do you make meaningful connections when you're an introvert. I think that with Digital Nomads, we have people from all walks of life. I'm a little bit of an extrovert. You're a bit more of an introvert. So I think this is going to be a very interesting conversation. If you're a digital nomad, I hope you're going to learn a lot. Welcome, Samantha.
Thank you. So I'm from Seattle. I own a legal cannabis accessories company in the United States. We distribute in Canada, and I basically sell online through my website, and I work from anywhere.
For how long have you been a digital nomad?
I'd say off and on for 3 years.
And you're not a digital nomad on your own, right? You're traveling with your partner.
Yeah, we just kind of decided we didn't want to be cold for the winter, so we migrated over to Bali, and now are sweating 24/7 here, so just as intense.
And other than Bali, did you go to other places as a digital nomad?
Yeah, we lived in Canada for a while on a tiny island that had like 50 people.
Oh wow.
And everyone was like over 50 years of age. That was interesting. And then we've sort of traveled around. We were in Chicago for a while, and yeah, it's been really fun. I designed a vaporizer for dry leaf marijuana. It can be used for tobacco or herbs or incense or anything like that, but it's primarily for cannabis. I also sell merch and other things like that.
Cool, and what's the name of your company?
Fez, F-E-Z, like the tiny red hat. My business is a little complex because I can't legally advertise anywhere on the internet, like no Facebook ads, no Instagram, no Google AdWords, nothing like that. So my whole life is just making content to attract people all over the internet to come to my website.
So storytelling.
Storytelling. I treat finding connections kind of like I would with my business. Like I research a lot. It helps me feel like I know exactly who I want to connect with.
What is a meaningful connection for you?
For me, I'm very intentional. I love connecting with people and like enriching their life and vice versa. If you haven't moved somewhere yet and you're wanting to build a social network, I think research is really, really important. Like finding a gym you love, finding a co-working space that really suits your needs, that has like weekly events or workshops or things like that. So you have to like mentally invest in what you want your time to look like.
Yeah.
And so when you get here, then it's a lot easier to like invite people into your space instead of just wandering around not knowing anybody. This is a little nerdy, but for me, like before I came to Bali, I researched all the kinds of experiences I wanted to have, like places I wanted to go. I went on Instagram a lot, found like secret Bali or treks or things that were kind of more hidden. Came up with this list of places I wanted to go, things I wanted to do, and just, you know, like crafted like a vision for my time in Bali. You can find people anywhere, but if you want like a community and if you want like a really meaningful type connection, you're gonna have to put in more work. I think when you're a digital nomad, you're responsible for like making money constantly and being your parent. Yeah. Like you have to encourage yourself. When you like finish work and you go to the gym, you basically have completed like your to-do list.
Yeah.
And so you can fall into this mindset where you're like, I did everything I'm supposed to do. I don't need to like keep pushing myself, right? That is kind of where you fall into like being a loner or being stagnant and not meeting people. You don't like stay on yourself to keep trying to find new opportunities, then they stop coming to you. So it's like a muscle that you have to flex.
Do you feel like there's any other like challenge, especially for like digital nomads that are more like introverts?
Yeah, I do. I think having social anxiety and maybe not knowing where to start, or having thoughts like, oh, I don't know if these people will like me if I try to like join a social group, like a networking. Like networking events can be really nerve-wracking. For an introvert, maybe you shouldn't start there. Maybe instead, like, you know, volunteering at a charity or doing something with art or like going hiking with other people. It is a lot better. So I think the main things to consider are just to define for yourself like what kind of person you want to be around and like what is a meaningful connection. If you want to find friends that will challenge you, maybe you should join like a mastermind group or a fitness group of something that's really endurance based.
Yeah.
Or if you love adventure and the outdoors, you know, maybe join like a climbing gym or an expedition group. Really take some time to journal and define for yourself what is meaningful. I think like a mistake a lot of introverts make is they think they need to act like extroverts in order to make friends.
Okay.
So you kind of like fall into this role of having to be like someone you're not.
Yeah.
But I think that the best thing to realize is just that you are responsible for your own happiness.
Yeah.
And that involves people. Like the thing that makes a place a home versus just a place you're visiting is community. Making community will make you feel, you know, completely at peace with where you are. So just like be really honest with yourself. We all have weaknesses. We all kind of get stuck in like our bubble of what we're comfortable with, and just making yourself step outside of that and going to events you wouldn't normally go to. And just being around people that are going to push you just a little bit when you really need it. I kept living in a city that everyone thought was great, but that I wasn't really getting any joy out of. Like, Seattle is beautiful, but it's very expensive. And everyone's kind of isolated there because you work in tech. So unless you work in a tech office, you're really not going to know that many people because people aren't that social. I kept rationalizing to myself that because I was making money, that things were going well, that the city I lived in was really beautiful, that I was happy. You know, I wasn't being honest with myself, I think. And I wasn't pushing myself. I wasn't even following my own advice. And as a digital nomad, you have to find a community and like a little lily pad that works for you.
Guys, I'm also really curious to know, like, what is your greatest failure and how did you deal with it? So put your comment below in the comment box and let us know. What is your most controversial thought or opinion about digital nomads or the digital nomad lifestyle?
Ooh, that's a good one. Wonder if people are gravitating towards a digital nomad lifestyle because they think that they can bypass having to grow up.
Yeah.
I think it's like a little bit of a Peter Pan syndrome, as we call it. It's like
I love how you say that.
Lost Boys. You know, because the years between 25 and 35 are really transformative. Like, you get married, you buy a house, you have kids, you take on like a mortgage, debt, things like that. And those aren't necessarily, you know, great things, but they force you to sort of stretch yourself and really put weight on your shoulders to like, you know, get out of that. But then I see people here that, you know, maybe they moved here and they had a good time, but they're pushing 42 and they're still partying. Like, they're still sort of like lost in Never Never Land, and there's no one is going to tell them like, hey, maybe it's time to like grow up you know.
First of all, Samantha, thank you so much for giving us so many useful insights, and I really hope you learned a thing or two. I actually did, and I think it's super interesting how everyone has like their different take on this whole digital nomad life. So do you have like, as a last question, do you have any question for me?
I do, actually. I'm curious what your tattoo means. I've never asked you before.
A lot of people ask that, so I will put a photo somewhere so you can see it. So it has a little bit to do with my digital nomad life. It says liefde. And liefde is love in Dutch. And I got it tattooed in Chiang Mai a couple of months ago. So that's
it's beautiful.
And now I'm doing everything with love, out of love. Lots of love. I feel so much love. Yeah, it's great. I think also with that is that everything that I do is more meaningful because I meet amazing people. The projects that I do, even this Nomad Talks, like it's fantastic. And I know that I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't explore my journey of love. So I really want to thank you for being here.
Yeah, really nice.
I think it's very interesting, the advice that you gave. If you are a future digital nomad and you have more questions, put them below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I see you in the next episode. Samantha, thank you so much. Terima kasih. And it was great to have you here. Sweaty hug.